No. I must be very. I just want to be clear in my mind as to whether the nominee has been sued.
Very well. Fifi, I am very much concerned about your capacity to tell the truth. I'm very much concerned about it. You come across as somebody who is very strong on issues, very strong, sometimes very insulting. And if you look at the editorial of your newspaper, which is just dated 9th March 2009, that's today's issue, I was a bit scandalized that some serious verbal assault was launched on the former President J. Kufuor and also Osafo Mafo. Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, let me refresh his memory on what has been captured. Very interesting. Osafo Mafo is yesterday's man. Mr. Yao Osafo Mafo was once a Minister of Finance and Economic Planning under the senseless, wasteful former MPP government led by J.A. Kufuor, alias 50%. Alias 50%. And then you went on, the editorial goes on to say that it also takes us into the mind of the minority in Parliament and the mischievous spirit operating within them. And it goes on to say that concerning Osafo Mafo, it is either dementia is setting in because of old age, or Osafo Mafo is willfully criticizing the budget to score cheap political points for his party, and so on and so forth. Fifi, I think that, seriously speaking, this does not mark you out as a very civil person who should be given such a high office of Deputy Minister of Finance, because you needn't insult another man to make a point. How are you going to fit into this role if this is your frame of mind and disposition? That's my first question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Gift you can give to God out of the scriptures. God bless you.
Deputy Minister of Finance, because you needn't insult another man to make a point. How are you going to fit into this role if this is your frame of mind and disposition? That's my first question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The honourable member clearly assumes that everything that is written in the newspaper called Crystal Clear Lens is written by my good self. For the information of the honourable member, after 7th December, to date, I've not even had the opportunity to do what I call a write-up in the Lens up to today. It's been too hectic, too busy to be able to do so. In fact, even prior to that, a lot of the things that get done are not necessarily written by me.
Fine, you didn't write it.
So, and to be honest, what you're actually quoting, to be honest, that's the first time I'm hearing about it myself. I've not even read it.
So now, decency demands. Do you think that this is very civil and polite language for a newspaper which you happen to be the managing director? So do you want to apologize for such a foul language which is contained in an editorial? Or you want to endorse this kind of language?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My simple answer to that will be that as much as possible, we should be able to convey our sentiments in a manner that as much as possible will not, as it were, incur too much, should I call it, apprehension from the other side. Having said that, let us acknowledge that across the political divide, both in papers that support the NPP and papers that support the NDC, there tends to be tendencies where sometimes you go overboard. It's the nature of the game, sometimes, that sometimes you throw punches that are below the belt. It's not always the best, but it does happen. It happens naturally in the game. In fact, I remember clearly, Mr. J. Kufuor, when he went to see then former President John Rawlings in the castle as President-elect, said that on the platform, sometimes you wax larger than life. You say things that you don't always would have said when you were much more cool.
This is a newspaper. There's not a platform.
It's the same.
It's a newspaper.
It's the same political realm. The same political realm.
Now, it's okay. It's okay. Let's leave him. Let's leave him. Now, Fifi again. Fifi again. Yeah, Fifi again. The Lens newspaper reported that the NPP government has sold off the gold reserves of this country, all the gold reserves of this country. Can you tell us whether it's one of the propaganda that your newspaper is to churn out, or you have facts as to the quantum of the gold, the value of the gold, and the buyer of the gold? Can you tell us?
Yeah, before I can answer that, it's important for the honorable member, Mr. Chairman, to apprise me of exactly what he's talking about. As far as I know, there was a report on the web, I think before election, and that report was killed by various newspapers in the country. I think it was not just papers who were even pro-NDC, there were also other papers that killed it. If that's the report you're talking about, clearly that report did not generate from the Lens newspaper at all.
So you carried a report that you didn't have evidential support for. Is that what you're telling us? That you were the conveyor belt of somebody else's story, and you didn't have any evidential support at all, that the government of the NPP has sold all the gold reserves of this country? Is that the kind of thing that you want people to be doing in the Ministry of Finance? That without evidence you could churn out anything?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For those who would, as it were, track back and see how the Crystal Clear Lens as a newspaper reported that story, they will realize that in line with our sense of responsibility, we ask it in the form of a question. Are the gold reserves sold? It came as a question because we were not in a position to authenticate it. So we asked the question whether the gold reserves were sold. We never stated it as a matter of fact.
Mr. Chairman, let me proceed with
your last question.
Okay, very well. I would have loved to go on, but now I think the months preceding the presidential elections, you particularly made an Akufo-Addo your ministry. Now, there was no moment that if you didn't attack the very person of Akufo-Addo, you will not be complete as a person. And I'm referring to this NDC forum for setting the record straight. And let me capture something that you said, which I found very interesting. Yeah, Fifi, you said...
Honorable Member for Bokwa South, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Fifi, you said, those who are unable to tell the truth about their past cannot be trusted to tell the truth about their present and their future. And they went on when you said, between Atamil's NDC and Akufo-Addo's NPP, the choice cannot be any easier for Pastor Otabil and co. Whereas NDC Atamil is a genuine man of peace, NPP's Akufo-Addo has blood and violence dogging his political trail. NDC's vice chairman in the Abuakwa Central constituency, Abu Mohammed, remains a cripple today because of the brutality meted out to him by Akufo-Addo's thugs. Again, in the year 2004, Akufo-Addo's thugs on the night of the election set ablaze NDC's office in Chebi, Abuakwa South, where I'm the MP. and destroyed everything in that office. Akufo-Addo's naturally violent propensity obviously has made his party even more violent since he became the leader of the MPP. Now, Fifi, I suggest to you, with all due deference to you, I'm not here to embarrass you, that do you know that this statement against Akufo-Addo is one of the lies that you were selling out? Indeed, Abu Mohammed is never a cripple. And as we talk right now, he's the chairman of the TAFU GTRPU. GTRPU. And also in my constituency, Chebi, where I come from, there has never been any NDC office which was burnt down by thugs of Akufo-Addo. And I want to put it to you straight away that this is the kind of disservice you were doing this country. You were not setting any record straight. And if you want the chairman and the rest of the committee to call, what's it called, Abu Mohammed, he will walk right here. He's not a cripple. And there was no occasion that he was beaten up to the point that he became a cripple. Would you want to recant this and apologize, or you want to stand by, these falsehoods?
If he stands by, we'll call up.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to state emphatically that the Forum for Setting the Record Straight did in all 12 major press conferences. 12 major press conferences. And we tackle issues across the political divide, from healthcare through education to the economy to MPP's claims about human rights.
Address this cripple issue. You see, I don't want you to. I've asked very specific questions, and if you can address the issue of the cripple that you spoke about, and also the burning of the NDC office in Chebi, where I come from. Address just these two. I don't want to go. We don't even have the time. They are even telling me to stop. So please, I crave your indulgence. Was there any occasion that Abu Mohammed became a cripple as a result of political assault by thugs of MPP? And was there any occasion that the NDC office was burnt down? That's all, my good man, that's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable member.